See, I'm Muslim. I've never celebrated Christmas, but I can tell you one thing. I can respect Christmas on a whole new level, being that I'm realizing that it's the last week of 2024 and that Christmas marks the last week of any Gregorian calendar cycle from January to January. You understand what I'm saying? So as I'm looking at Christmas this year, it gives me a chance to reflect. Now, a lot of people who look at Christmas and come up with different debates about Muslim, Jesus' birthday, and it's pagan holidays, Romanized and institutionalized with the Catholic Church at one point, and they overlap. I don't give a fuck. Kris Kringle and the fucking Satan. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Y'all be looking at the wrong shit, looking at insignificant things and wasting your mind unprofitably thinking about shit that don't even add up to nothing better in your life. You feel me? Whatever why your world is yours. Jesus' birthday or not, it's the last week of the Gregorian year. And it just marked the solstice, December 21st, the shortest day of the year, the least sunlight in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it was the longest day, right? Shouts out to all people in New Zealand and Australia. He's smart. Now, understanding that it was the winter solstice and it's the last week of the Gregorian calendar, we can understand that we're in the middle or the beginning of winter. And being that we're at the beginning of winter, this is when everybody who has put in work all year gets to sit down and enjoy the bounty of their harvest, the bounty of their production, the harvest of their production. You understand? Because we move in cycles. I don't think many people who live in this urbanized context can actually contemplate or comprehend that we live in cycles of spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring, summer, fall, winter. In spring, you plant the seeds. Really, you should start beginning to cultivate and get your land right, metaphorically, get yourself right January, right? But spring, you begin to plant the seeds. Summer, if you stay continuously dedicated to the situation, because most people in the summer, high level of distraction, high level of consumerism, high level of, just abandoning the process, right? And the summertime is when everybody crashes out. And then in the fall, if you stayed, this is just real, true, enlightened, ageless business advice. This is life advice. It's about harvest, right? The word harvest, about reaping and sowing. So first you sow in the spring. You begin to sow actually around now. You sow in the spring. You tend to the land and you do the work throughout the summer. And in the fall, you begin to see where you cut your crops. You begin to take everything in. And that's what the fall feels like. The fall feels like it's the highlight of the summer. Everything was blossomed, everything bloomed. All the fruits technically of one's labor would have been there. And anybody who was putting in work has things to reap. And those who had nothing to sow or who sowed nothing, reap nothing, especially in the fall and especially in the winter. And if you were in the olden times where society wasn't allowing all of these parasites to continue to exist without feeling the pain of having been irresponsible this whole time, aka the convenience of modern day society, which allows all these low level people to have a level of subsistence that doesn't match their level of existence or their level of, exactly, whatever you are, your world is yours. If you were in the olden days, in the winter, if you ain't put in no work, you would be out in the cold. Imagine a world with no electricity, no central heating, no gas, right? No stores, no mass produced food, right? You would be hungry, cold, and wet with no bitches, and your kids would be fucking dying. You'd be a naughty little boy all year. You'd have nothing but cold. This is where the metaphors is. Nobody's telling me this shit. I'm just sitting back reflecting because Sheikhy Chic is the sage of the century. Now you gotta understand, you would have coal in your stockings, proverbially, metaphorically, actually, have nothing of value in your stockings, while everybody else who was working well, working hard, staying true to the soil, staying true to their vision, staying true to being productive individuals in society, would be reaping the bounty of their harvest, reaping the rewards of their production. And that's what Christmas represents. It's so interesting to me because I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner myself. I operate and run my own business as myself. And this year, 2024, my profit margins increased over 400%. Now, let's say I made $25,000 last year. Let's just say that. That's not the case, but let's say that. That means I made it over $100,000, $125,000, $100,000 to $125,000. I didn't just make $25,000 last year. So when you really look at the situation, a 400% increase in one's business in a year is a massive achievement. And the trajectory and the projection of my growth has not stopped. It's because I'm compounding in my evolution. I'm compounding in my consciousness. I'm compounding in my comprehension, because I don't deviate from my program. I don't deviate from my vision. I don't deviate from evolving. I don't deviate from becoming ever more intelligent by the day. I don't deviate from the soil. I don't deviate from the production process. And that's why I always have a bountiful harvest. Whatever you are, your world is yours. So as we continue to reflect, those individuals who by December 25th have nothing much, it's really sad, because there are parents who are quote unquote struggling, dads and moms and, kids that have to suffer having whack ass parents who failed to comprehend that they failed to comprehend all year. And now you have to live as an individual who has to watch everybody else's parents and people who stood up and were productive members of society get to enjoy the bounty of their production. People will be thinking it's about entitlement this, and people are handed out. Nobody's handed shit. Even if you were born in a higher socioeconomic class, you still have to earn your money. So it's not like anybody gave you the money. You still have to be a productive individual. You still have to be a competent individual. You still have to be an individual who gets things done for other people at a level where you exchange services and goods. It's as simple as that. Whatever you are, your world is yours. So I'm infusing the comprehension of what Christmas really means with solid business consultation and advice. Whatever you are, your world is yours. So as we sit back and we reflect, I didn't buy myself this as a Christmas gift. I actually bought this because I didn't want anybody to associate this with somebody having bought this for me for Christmas or anything like that. I just cashed out on myself because I've been telling myself Monclers and Cartiers. But, it just feels good to be in a position to have earned myself into a position where I can reflect on my production and be able to have reflections of my production, whether I want to spend my money this way or that way. I have the discretion of spending my money the way I want to spend my money on the things I want to spend my money on, because it's my money, because I've been rewarded for being valuable to other people at the level that I've been valuable to other people. And I want to shout out to all, the people who decided to support themselves by getting on the program, support themselves by getting books, support themselves by getting on the audio program, because it's not like you're supporting me, like you're donating money to me. Don't ever get that shit fucked up. Understand that what I provide to you at the highest level is the most invaluable, the most priceless, non-monetary, calculable value contribution that you could actually exchange for. I'm giving you sound wisdom. I'm giving you sound knowledge. I'm giving you the information that you don't have, to do the things that you don't do, to get the results that you don't have, that you need to have to enjoy a better quality of existence. Now, if you can't comprehend that, or if you have low self-esteem, then we just really can't help you, because we understand that poverty is a religion, and that's why all these individuals have to suck. But I'm gonna just show y'all something. It's really bad. It's really bad. This is some euros. It's really bad that this is what's preventing a lot of y'all from being able to, enjoy the lives that you want, eat the things you want to eat, go to places you want to go, experience the things you want to experience. It's as simple as that. Whatever you are, your world is yours. Consider the vibrations raised. And everybody always going to talk shit about these, you know what I'm saying? But as we continue to earn more of these, and utilize more of these to become better people for the people that we need to become better for, and just creating an economy and understanding society. We don't want anybody who was talking shit about these, right? We don't want anybody who's talking shit about these, because this is the reason that your child is depressed. This is the reason that you don't got food in your fridge. This is the reason that, you over here stressed out on earth while other people are not, because you low-key are subjugated to this because you keep talking shit about this. But the more they talk shit about this and say that this is not important, the more we just say, more for us, more health for us, more space for us, more space away from low-level people. So if you don't want the money and you want to consistently talk shit about money, then it's just more money for us. And as we count more money, and enjoy a higher quality of existence and have more in-depth, rich experiences on earth as we exist as souls passing through, and you stuck in the same spot having the same experience as the same lame-ass motherfucker, who talk shit about the shit that they really wanted because they were just too inadequate and too incompetent and too egotistical to admit their incompetence and their inadequacy to actually rectify the shit. You know, we just don't want to hear no shit out of nobody. Remember all the individuals who said it wasn't about money and who talked shit about money and said money wasn't important, you know, because we don't want nobody catching the vapors. The more we start flashing, the more we start swagging. And, you know, this is really just some pocket change. Like, why the fuck does he have just, like, abandoned euros? What else does he have? You know, it's like, y'all confuse money. Like, you know, I'm going to say this before we dip. You know, you don't have to spend money on certain things, and you don't not have to spend money on certain things. People think that conspicuous consumption is a necessity of being rich, or saying that conspicuous consumption is correlated with poverty. These are non-correlated things. You can conspicuously consume and have all of these symbols and things that, you know, display your capacity to do things, because it's a matter of can you or can't you, right? We can do it. So the fact that we can, we just might. But just because we can doesn't mean we have to prove anything to anybody. There's levels and definitely stratifications of wealth that need to be maintained at all times. So don't ever get shit confused. You might see Sheikhy Chic wearing the same clothes for a whole month straight. That don't mean shit. So a lot of y'all got to start to recognize your values are fucked up. Whatever why your world is yours. Happy holidays to everybody. You know, I just want everybody to remember that, you know, this is the final week of the year, so it's time to reflect. And everybody either made X amount of money or they didn't make X amount of money. Everybody was a certain level of productive or they weren't a certain level of productive. Everybody was either a certain level of competence, and certain people just were not a certain level of competent. It's just what it is. And as we consistently liberate ourselves from the guilt of success that these lames and these losers try to project on us and try to give us as a burden, the burden of our success is not a burden unto us. Your failure should continue to be a burden unto you until you rectify this shit. I can consistently intellectualize shit, or I can say, you know what, stay a bum ass bitch if you want. All my people, we sober. All my people, we fit. All my people, we enlightened actually and factually. Thank you, Sheikh Mackie. And all my people, we getting money, we getting rich, and we enjoying the highest quality of existence on earth. Nobody is meant to be here and suffer and be poor and on some weird shit. Nah, this is here and now, and we're gonna be the best here and now because it's really in our power and our control to become worthy, to become worthful, to increase our value to ourselves and to increase our value to others, to operate in harmony with universal laws and attract in all the things that we are equal and equivalent in value to. Consider the vibrations raised. You know, they say it's tangible or intangible, intangible or tangible. It's both. The highest level is understanding that spirit manifested into matter for a reason. You understand that spirit is the lower level of evolution. Spirit and energy, those were the first phases of the universe's formation. And if you understand that matter and the condensation of energy into a slower vibrational rate, which is understood as the gross material three-dimensional plane, is actually the further down the line advancement of the complexity of the formation of said phenomena, then you would understand that matter, in fact, is a higher level of advancement than bare energy. And the same thing, at the same time, we need to understand that there is no greater or value. They're equal. They're both equal. They're just different gradations of the same substance on operating at different levels of experiential phenomena. Don't have time to really explain that because I don't want to long-wind this shit, but it's the same stuff just moving differently, and then thus you experience it differently. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution only solution, self-mastery only success. Let them keep their religion of poverty. Let them keep their religion of self-doubt. Let them keep their limiting beliefs and their limited existence. We're not for none of that. You don't got to believe what I believe. We're not going to have to believe what you want to believe. If your way of life is better than ours, then watch us suffer. Since our way of life is definitely better than yours, we're just going to have to watch you suffer because you chose to be an opposite or an opposition to the truth. There is no debating the truth. There is no level of opinion. Opinion is the lowest level of consciousness. Once you understand that there is truth, and it's not truth because I believe it, it's truth because rationally and reasonably you deduce down to the facts of cause and effect. You understand that you are in a universe and you are a part of something that you will not be a part of yet will still exist without you, then you understand that there's objectivity here. Consider the vibrations raised. Not here for the low IQ, not here for the day room. You know, all that weird shit y'all niggas be on, stay weird. Whatever you want, your world is yours. Sober, fit, enlightened, and rich. I've been telling y'all since day one, and it is what it is. It's a shame, but, you know, Merry Christmas. Reflect on your motherfucking, reflect on your motherfucking year. You know, we just been winning all year. In 2025, we just gonna continue to win, and that's just what it is. 400% growth in your business. That's phenomenal, bro. And I'm still doing it all by myself. While y'all motherfuckers is still, a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people is still fucking struggling, and they fail to recognize that they fail to recognize that they're failing to recognize. Fuck, dude. Consider the vibrations raised. And one last thing, understand that just because you don't see you all day, don't forget that we all see you. That's the thing about people. People are on such a low level of consciousness that they fail to recognize that every single last person that's moving through Earth is looking through first person view. And what that makes the lowest level people forget is that although they can't see themselves, although the individual is not seeing themselves because they're seeing through first person view, they forget that everybody else can see them. So you can delude yourself as you move through the world and you don't see you. But if you're a fat, scrawny, weak, sloppy body, then that's a byproduct of inferior conduct. If you're a low-level motherfucker, we can see that very clearly. Don't forget, we see you, even though you don't see you. And the fact that you don't recognize that people see you, although you don't see you all day, yeah, you forgot that the third eye is to be able to be the mental witness and to be able to observe self from above. You could call it the mental witness. You can call it the God eye, as I wrote in the beginning of my books, which I wrote in 2012, just being by myself, channeling that information. It's universal wisdom. It is what it is. The third eye is to be able to objectify self and see self from the third person. Ayman is really ecstatic that he's Ayman. Sheikhy Chic is really happy to be Sheikhy Chic. People talk about, oh, where you talk to yourself in the third person, geniuses do this. And you can't just start talking in the third person to assume that you're a genius. Nah, it's just a natural disposition. Consider the vibrations raised. Like I said, man, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all of that. We just gonna keep winning. We're gonna keep shining. And I hope that you wake up to the fact that we're moving into the future. And if you want the answers to learn how to get the health level that you want, to get the wealth level that you want, tap in, get on the program. Listen, you're gonna have to apply the solutions to your life. Nobody's here to hold your hand. Nobody's here to do anything for you. It's a matter of, if you know you're worth it, you have to show yourself every day that you're worth it. And at this point, I just know that I'm worth more than people. Oh man, I keep going on these segues. I just know that I'm worth more than people. And it's not by comparison, it's just that my self-esteem exceeds theirs. People get mad at you when your self-esteem exceeds theirs. People get mad at you in society when your self-esteem exceeds theirs, because everybody, for the most part, thinks that they're the most valuable person in the world. The most objective people in the world understand that there are people who are objectively more valuable, so they understand that there are levels that they can bridge and gap to increase their value. But the lowest level people walking around as the lowest level people, thinking that they're the highest level people, and then when a person of higher level walks in the room, objectively and factually, what happens is it irritates, because that individual objectively exceeds their level of worth and their perceived level of self-worth. And that's another level where haters begin. But when you wake up every day, you don't self-sabotage every day, you put the work in, the work instills the worth. The work is where the worth is. When you put the work in and you instill the worth in yourself over time, and you improve yourself, upgrade yourself, don't sabotage yourself, in a world full of individuals who degrade themselves, sabotage themselves, destroy themselves, derelict themselves, etc. You just know you're not worth that lower level shit. Obviously, they still serve themselves that lower level shit, so that's what they think they deserve. And the better you treat yourself, the better you expect yourself to be treated. It's as simple as that. So it starts with you earning your self-worth back from yourself. You have no self-worth, you have no dignity right now, because you're probably broke, you're probably addicted, you're probably out of shape, you're probably confused and ignorant in this world, or you're probably a culmination of all four of those things on some level at some degree. So what you need to do is establish and learn how to earn your self-worth by, one, establishing integrity and no longer being a hypocrite, no longer being a self-betraying individual, no longer being a walking contradiction, no more contradictions. You wake up, you say you're going to do something, you do it. And then the baseline of everything is to achieve. So first you achieve obtaining your self-respect and making yourself feel like you're worthy of things, because you'll never be able to exceed or surpass your level of self-worth. And then once we get you to love the person you see in the mirror and psychologically have a memory bank that's associated with the self-love that you put into the self, that you know that you love yourself and you've shown yourself that you love yourself. So now you actually walk around with actual true self-esteem, not brazen, ignorant, arrogant confidence, right? It's just brazen arrogance. You know, now you've actually become somebody, you know, that is worth serving and offering to other people. And the more you increase the value of that person who is a worthy offering to other people, and you make them a even more worthy offering to other people, the more you can be offered in return. Consider the vibrations raised. Can't dumb it down for dummies. We ain't on that day room shit. 225. We leaving everybody in the day room behind. Consider the vibrations raised.